apparently another Boeing airplane had a major malfunction. The nose of it, or the nose wheel, fell off. Do you have the headline out of Atlanta? It was a Delta flight. Atlanta's the hub.
I'm going on the Delta flight on Saturday. Well, Delta Boeing flight. I checked the make.
Nobody was injured.
So pray for me, people.
Nobody
please.
was injured.
How'd they land it without the wheel?
Well, no, it was on takeoff. So it was just taxiing for takeoff.
Just plop. Okay.
Just plop. I don't know if it...
it's kind of an important wheel as far as plane wheels go.
I sort of feel like they're all important wheels.
I guess.
But you have the CEO of the Alaska Airlines said we had a lot of planes, MAX planes, with loose bolts. Now, think of the reasons why all these Boeing planes may have manufacturing defects.
Diversity?
You nailed it, or at least that's what Charlie Kirk thinks. Here is Charlie Kirk. And to be sure, Charlie Kirk, I understand he's saying this not because he has an issue with black people, but because ostensibly Boeing manufactured planes poorly. Well, there we go.
Corporate hiring practices.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking about that.
You want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
This is the reality the left has created.
Look what they made. They made us be racist. I don't think I've ever even looked at who the pilot is when I've been on a plane.
I'm like, okay, I hope there's nobody accidentally sitting in my seat and I can find a place to put my bag overhead.
Exactly.
I mean, the idea that the reason why these people, when they see a black person, they say, I wonder if they're qualified, is not because of diversity initiatives and equity in hiring. The standards for airline pilots is not fungible. Not to mention that the problem is with the planes.
Yes.
We've established
and not United either. They're like doing interference for Boeing.
And why don't they do DEI arguments about the well, first they're covering Boeing's ass because it's not about the manufacturing. For some reason, it's the pilot operating
the airlines,
the airplane, not the structural integrity of it. You know what they're also doing in the way that anti-vaxxers exploit how right-wingers. I mean,
anxiety.
The right-wingers are just fearful of everything. They're fearful of medicine. They're fearful of getting a shot. People are afraid of flying.
Yep, exactly.
So
this is a rich vein of anxiety to tap into.
Yeah.
And
how far away do you think we are of some right winger freaking out when they see that their pilot is black and insisting
land this plane.
I'm not going to get on this plane.
Probably not. Probably a few hours. The turbulence. The thing you should think about when you experience turbulence is that turbulence itself is never taking down a plane.
Yeah.
So comfort yourself a little bit. You shouldn't be thinking about the square jaw of the pilot. That is a very. I don't know. You should be thinking about how planes, even if you lose an engine once you're in cruising altitude, aerodynamics mean they're not just going to fall out of the sky. They'll glide. There are things to think about besides
the biological makeup of the pilot.
If my pilot isn't at least a 7,
also, I'd be too worried
getting off this flight.
On this dumb line of thought, you remember that John Hamm episode of 30 Rock where he's so handsome that he gets a free pass in life?
Yes.
If you saw the guy who was the Chad, you might worry that maybe he's gotten a free pass in life. If you were this dumb enough to think these sorts of qualifications of who's a pilot is gamed this way, and
he's a doctor who doesn't know the Heimlich maneuver.
And the real problem isn't just a massive corporation that gets defense contracts and stuff is cutting costs and falling apart in front of your eyes. No, it's diversity.
Meanwhile, I'm sure these people railing against DEI will talk about how Nikki Haley is a little bit too corporate for a Republican candidate. And in part, it's because she's on the board of Boeing. So On one end, they're pretending they're anti-establishment, but they're doing Boeing's
Leaving that layup
dirty
right
work,
there, yeah.
right? And then on the other Republican option is also doing Boeing's dirty work. That's the Republican Party. It's just different flavors, same result.